Jackanory, Jackanory. Jackanory.
Hello, my name is Luke, and today I'm going to be telling you the story of the Emperor's new clothes. A long time ago, there was an emperor who loved new clothes. He spent his whole life searching for new things to wear. He didn't do any of the things that emperors are supposed to do. He never visited his army, never made a speech, never even opened a new school or hospital. The only time his people saw him was when he walked through the city, showing off his newest clothes. People would see him and whisper, "Look at that wonderful hat," or "Those silk trousers, what beautiful colours." One day, two strangers entered the city. One was a very tall, thin man with a long, pointed nose. The other was small and round and had not a single hair on his head. The strange pair drove their cart straight to the emperor's house and asked to see the emperor. "Impossible," said the palace gatekeeper. "A box of new shoes has just arrived from China, and His Majesty will be spending the whole day trying them on. He will have no time to see new people." "Fine," said the tall stranger. "Tell your emperor that he's just missed the chance to buy the most wonderful, magical clothes the world has ever seen. Goodbye." "Wait," said the gatekeeper. "Magical, you say? Perhaps His Majesty might spare just a moment for you. Wait there." Now, the emperor would never miss a chance to buy unusual clothes, so before long the two strangers were standing in front of the great man and his ministers, all eager to see what the two had bought. Remember I was telling you about the emperor's new clothes? Well, we're about to continue the story. "Your Majesty," said the small, round stranger, "my partner and I have invented a wonderful cloth, which is not only very beautiful, but also magic. We wondered if your Majesty would be interested in such a cloth." "Magic?" said the emperor, pretending not to be interested. "What magic?" "Of course, your Majesty will be able to see our magical cloth, but anyone who is stupid or not fit for his job will see nothing. To stupid people, our cloth will be invisible." The emperor sat up very straight. "That is brilliant," he thought. "Here's a chance to find out which of my people are fit for their jobs and which of them are fools." "All right," he said. "Make me some of your magic cloth. Make it for me now." "It's not cheap," said the tall stranger. "It'll cost—" "It doesn't matter what it costs," said the emperor. "Whatever you ask, I'll pay." The two strangers were given 2 bags of gold coins and a room where they could set up their huge wooden looms. Then they locked the door and started to work. The emperor listened at the door and smiled excitedly. "Good," he said. "They've made a start." But what the emperor didn't know was that these two strangers were cheats who had come to trick him. They were just pretending to work. They kept their looms moving, but no silk or thread was used, and not a stitch of cloth was made. The strangers looked at their empty looms and their 2 bags of gold and laughed. "Enjoying their work," said the emperor. "That's a good sign." For 2 days and 2 nights, the emperor listened to the strangers working, and on the 3rd day, he sent his chief minister to see how they were getting on. The chief minister knocked politely on the door. Remember how I was telling you about the emperor's new clothes? Well, we just learned that the emperor had hired some people to make him some magic cloth, and he's just sent his chief minister to check in on them. "Excuse me," he said. "May I come in?" The door opened. "Of course," said the tall stranger. "Come in and see the magic cloth. I think you'll be quite surprised." Well, the chief minister was surprised. Actually, the chief minister was horrified because what he saw hanging on the looms was nothing. He put on his glasses, put his face right up to the loom, but he could not see a single thread of cloth. "Oh no," he thought. "This must mean I'm a fool and I'm not fit to do my job. No one must know. I must pretend that I see the cloth." "So, what do you think?" said the short, round stranger. It's beautiful," said the chief minister. "Like the colours?" said the tall, thin stranger. "The colours? Oh yes," said the chief minister. "Magnificent. The emperor is going to just love those colours." "Then tell him he's going to need to pay us more money," said the short, round stranger. "Magic thread is expensive. Tell him we need more bags of gold if we are to make enough cloth for a suit of clothes." "Certainly," said the chief minister, and he scurried back to the emperor. The emperor was very excited when he heard about the magnificent cloth, and he told a servant to take the strangers 2 more bags of gold. "Put the money on the table," said the tall stranger, pretending to work on his loom. The servant did as he was told, and then took a look at the magic cloth and saw nothing. Remember how I was telling you the story about the emperor's new clothes? Well, the strangers have just been offered 2 more bags of gold, and the servant's just gone in to check on them. Let's see what he finds. "Lovely, isn't it?" said the short, round stranger, without looking up from his work. Now, the servant didn't want the whole world to think he was a fool and unfit for his job, so of course he said, "Oh yes, the most beautiful cloth I've ever seen." As he left the room and walked back to the emperor's chamber, the servant heard the chink of gold coins and the unmistakable sound of laughter. News of the beautiful magic cloth quickly spread. The emperor could wait no longer and demanded to see the cloth for himself. So, with all his ministers and his servants following behind, the emperor went to the stranger's room and knocked on the door. The emperor looked at the looms, stared at the cloth, and saw nothing. He rubbed his eyes and looked again. Still nothing. His heart was beating. The colour had drained from his face. The cloth was invisible. "This is a disaster," he thought. "Everyone will know I'm a fool and unfit to be emperor. I'm finished. I'll have to resign. Give up my empire. Admit I'm not up to the job." And then he thought, "No, I'm not going to allow this to happen. I am the emperor, and I'm going to carry on being the emperor." And so he said, "Magnificent! This is the most beautiful cloth I've ever seen." And of course, his ministers and his servants all agreed. None of them could really see any cloth either, but nobody wanted to be a fool, so they all said, "Magnificent, beautiful, quite brilliant." And then someone started to clap. Others joined in, and soon the whole court was cheering the 2 strangers, who smiled and bowed very low, like actors on a stage. Remember how I was telling you the story about the emperor's new clothes? Well, the emperor's just demanded to see this magic cloth that has been made for him. And the whole court is there watching, so let's see what happens. When the cheering died down, the emperor asked the 2 strangers if they could make him a suit of the clothes from the magic cloth. The tall stranger stroked his long chin and said, "Your Majesty, a suit of clothes made from this fine cloth would cost you 2 more bags of gold." "Of course, whatever, pay them," ordered the emperor. So the money was paid, and the 2 cheats got back to work. Now, different sounds came from the strangers' rooms. Peering through the keyhole, the emperor could see scissors cutting invisible cloth, a needle stitching with invisible thread. He longed to see these beautiful new clothes, but the emperor knew now that everyone would think he was a fool if they remained invisible to him. The cheating strangers worked through the night, and in the morning they told the emperor that his new clothes were ready. The emperor was very excited, and he announced that he would wear his new clothes that very morning and walk through the city so his people could admire him in his latest outfit. So, the emperor got undressed, and the strangers helped him on with his new clothes. First, they squeezed him into a pair of invisible trousers. "Trousers not too tight?" they asked. "No," said the emperor. Very comfortable indeed, actually." The strangers fastened invisible buttons and buckles, eased the emperor into an invisible shirt and coat, and placed an invisible hat on his head. Finally, as they tied up the invisible laces on his invisible shoes, they said, "So, how do your clothes feel, Your Majesty?" "Very light," said the Emperor. "It almost feels like I'm not wearing anything at all now. Fetch me a pair of gloves. I don't want to get cold hands today." "Certainly," said the small, round stranger. "What colour of gloves should I get?" "I don't know," said the Emperor. "What do you think would be the best colour to go with this magnificent outfit?" "Purple, I think, Your Majesty," said the tall, thin stranger. The city streets were full. A great crowd had come to see the Emperor's new clothes, and everyone was excited, but they were also a bit scared. Everyone was thinking the same thought. What if I can't see the clothes? What if it turns out I'm a fool? The Emperor led the procession out of the palace and into the streets. He walked very slowly with his head in the air and a proud smile on his face. And although the people could see no clothes, they all clapped and praised the wonderful colours on the beautiful design. "Oh dear," thought the Emperor. "All my people can see my clothes. I must be the only fool in the whole city." And then a little boy pointed to the Emperor and said, "He's got nothing on!" Everyone went quiet. The people looked at the little boy. The people looked at the Emperor. "Don't be silly," said the boy's father. "I'm sorry, Your Majesty, my son doesn't know what he's saying. He's just a stupid boy. Your clothes are beautiful." "But he hasn't got any clothes," said the little boy. "He is all bare." "No, he's not," said the boy's father. "Yes, he is," said the little boy. "He's all bare, I can see." "Quiet," said the boy's father. And now people started whispering amongst themselves. "The boy's right," they said. "The Emperor's got nothing on." The whispering spread, and then people started pointing and laughing. "He's all bare, he's got nothing on." "Poor fools," thought the Emperor. "Of course they can't see my clothes. Just proves it. Fools, every single one of them." And slowly and proudly he walked on through the city streets dressed in nothing but a pair of purple gloves. The moral of this story is that you might have a lot, but that doesn't make you smart. So stay in school.
Jackanory, Jackanory. Jackanory.